So we launched already in July 17th. I think it was in last year. And I think our start was fairly slow compared to many other chains, but it was exactly because of this kind of boutique DeFi ecosystem building that we very intentionally decided to do. So instead of onboarding like all of the blue chip protocols and kind of killing the competition on Mantle, we really want to actually prioritize kind of younger products that are hungry builders that want to create something special and something unique on Mantle. So that's why you don't see Uniswap, you don't see Aave, you don't see Chainlink, and you don't see a lot of the grandfathers of the DeFi world on Mantle. We really want to make sure that we're keeping things fresh and exciting for new builders. One of the things we're kind of jokishly kind of referring to these days is like Mantle as a DeFi paradise, and that's not something that we coined. It's something that DeFi Dad on one of his podcasts said that, those Mantle guys, they're building a DeFi paradise. And actually, I started thinking like, okay, what does this mean? And to me, it's both a bit of a DeFi ecosystem paradise for the user and for the builder, right? So for the users, obviously, we want to have this like suite of DeFi protocols with really good UX, something where every protocol brings something fresh and exciting and new to the user that maybe they haven't had before in other ecosystems. And it seems like a curated experience still, right? Like we obviously before we support protocols with our marketing and so on, we do quite extensive due diligence and so on, and we try to be as fair as possible for all new products, but we do still kind of curate this experience for the user quite a bit. And also on the builder side, right? I mean, we've heard comments from many other DeFi protocols saying, they've been with some other L2 since day zero, and they've never been able to receive this much support. Just purely even our kind of DeFi team's time, right? Support on the growth side, support on kind of strategic building side, and everything involved. So we're really proud of kind of supporting both the users and their experience and the builders and making sure that they have everything they need to succeed while keeping the battlefield as fair as possible. So yeah, there's many things now that have been popping up in the last few months. Of course, like Fusion X here, like massive props to you, Bruce, for being here from day zero, being super active in the community. But yeah, we also have a ton of new stuff. I think Init Capital, one of the kind of newest additions, which is a lending market with some interesting liquidity hook designs. Butter, which is another kind of a DEX, and they have a very different vibe with some interesting like side games. They did this like fishing game. So really tapping into kind of the more fun side of DeFi that isn't maybe so serious. We have Circuit, which is it's a yield optimizer, kind of based on a beefy model, but also they're doing lots of kind of UX improvements and fun stuff for the user. So I think anything that's in my mind, in DeFi in general, you don't necessarily need to create a new protocol from scratch. I mean, even you guys at Trader Joe and Merchant Mo, right? I mean, I think you started as a Uniswap V2 fork or V3. I think it was V2 fork.
Yeah, Uniswap V2 fork was.
Yeah, and then like all the innovation happened after, and I think that's completely fine, right? Like starting with something that's battle tested and safe, and then slowly kind of building your edge. And oftentimes the edge is like, hey, instead of 2 clicks in this section of the site, we actually figured out how to make it into 1 click, and that's, to me, that's innovation, and that's something that we're looking for. We're looking into details, we're looking into product experience and all that stuff. But also, like eventually, all these even forked products may end up, becoming their own things and innovate new models and mechanisms and so on. And we definitely support that. And also, like lastly, I wanted to mention something that we're really proud of also, and something that we encourage. Again, I see it on a lot of the DeFi protocols here. especially you, Bruce, again, like as an individual, just like community involvement and community activity, whether it's like community on the Mantle side and like developer kind of chat side, or just even maybe fostering your own Discord servers and so on, and creating your own vibe and your own little tribe. Like I think Merchant Mo, you guys are just absolute masters at this. Yeah, that's also innovation, right? Like we're looking for these kind of community incentives, user incentives, and something where user is not forced to maybe share the tweet, but rather they actually want to talk about this on Twitter. They want to share this with their friends and so on. And I think that like community design is like, yeah, also a massive part of innovation that we're trying to foster on Mantle.
Yeah, you guys are doing really a lot for the DeFi community. Can you tell a bit more the audience how this process exactly looks like? What kind of support you're giving them, and what would be the best way to get started for anyone who's interested in building a Mantle?
Yeah, I think this is kind of changing. I'm transparently. I just looked at my Telegram. It's over 10,000 unopened messages. While I'm
You're welcome.
very actively mute channels and yeah. So while we were like a super responsive team in the beginning, and we still try to be that, and I think the teams here are probably seeing it still. But we do have to figure out new ways of kind of continuing to engage with new teams. So yeah, I mean, in terms of how to get involved, of course, like the first layer is, well, Mantle is a permissionless chain, right? Like anybody can deploy on Mantle. And if you do deploy, and if it's something that's interesting to us, like rest assured, we're going to be all over your DMs. So we're going to be talking to you, figuring out how to make you a success. So that's number one. Yeah, I mean, feel free to ping me or any of the Mantle team members that you see online. We also have, if you go to mantle.xyz, there's some forms you can fill out to reach out to us to get your project listed on the Mantle website and so on. So like those are kind of ways to get in touch with us. But honestly, yeah, just a Twitter DM is probably the easiest to kind of present what you're building. But beyond that, in terms of like what actually happens on the back end with support, it's I don't want to say sky's the limit, but like, yeah, we do everything we can to support teams. So we from the kind of maybe lowest lift side, of course, we do marketing support. We have various different channels. Unfortunately, I mean, the Mantle main channel requires a lot of due diligence on our end to kind of get to the Mantle Twitter channel, but we still do that quite a bit, even with new products. We have a grant program, mantle.xyz/grants, if you're looking into that. But I think we're actually slowly kind of deprecating that program and doing more proactive grants where the BD team is kind of scouting for projects, and if there's something interesting, we'll actually proactively say, hey, how about we do a grant application together. So that's something that we think is a little bit more effective. We've been getting a lot of spam through our grant funnels, so it's hard to manage. We obviously we have an ecosystem fund, so that's a $200 million fund. Half of that comes from our treasury, and the other half comes from our strategic venture partners. So that's something that has been an entity that has been deploying fairly aggressively into both like early stage products and protocols that we're very excited about, as well as some like more established players. Yeah, and then we have a very I would say unfair advantage of Bybit being our largest stakeholder, right? We have this strategic collaboration with Bybit. Bybit was the entity that made a massive bet into crypto, Web3, our DAO, our treasury, and they've kind of empowered us to kind of build this ecosystem from the beginning. And the unfair advantage here is, of course, like the protocols building on Mantle get a bit of a prioritized treatment on Bybit's side. So if you've built on any other L2, any other chain, you know how difficult it is to get listed on kind of top tier centralized exchanges. And if you have listed ever on centralized exchanges, you know what the effect of that is, right? It's a massive funnel for new users. Of course, just even the fact that it's being traded on centralized exchanges, the volumes are very different and so on. So anything from launch pads, launch pools, token listing, stuff like that. If you build on Mantle, you get priority access to Bybit. We can't, of course, we're a different entity, so we can't promise anything, but we definitely, do strong recommendations directly to Bybit if anything is built on Mantle. So quite a lot. And then like I think also on a more personal level, again, like the humans working at Mantle, there's like this situation that happened. I just want to tell this as an anecdote, just to describe to the audience here. But I think this is a good explanation or kind of a story of how we work. But yeah, we had this one team complain to us about something that happened in the ecosystem, on a Friday night. We immediately hopped on a call with them. It was late night for our team, and then we listened to their issues, and it was a bit of a subjective opinion, perhaps, that okay, this something the Mantle is doing is not right. And we were like, okay, we appreciate we respect your opinion. We're gonna look into this a little bit more, and we're gonna see what we can do. And then throughout the weekend, we were kind of trying to figure out how to make it right, how to change things, how to make all parties happy, and so on. And then by the end of Sunday, we had a statement for the protocol that was complaining. And actually, after that back and forth, I'm not going to get into details for some certain reasons, but after that whole back and forth, they actually DM'd me directly saying like, "Wow, again, we've been with some other chains. Similar things have happened with other chains, and we never get this kind of treatment and this kind of respect." And the fact that Mantle team, works like throughout the day, just making sure that our partners are happy and they're set up for success. It's just something that is very, a big part of our culture and our genes. So that's something that I'm really kind of proud of on our side.